Hello, myself Mrs. Ranjana Kharida is going to explain you about the chapter 4 Thinkers, Beliefs and Buildings with slide. This is the second part of slides for the chapter 4. So let's start. It is stupas. At first we should come to know what is stupa. It is generally a burial mound. It contained with the remains of a dignity. Next. These are major Buddhist sites of India shown in the map. So you should practice this. Next. Why are stupas built? According to the Buddhists, some places are sacred which are related to Gautama Buddha. Stupas were built because the relics of the Buddha, such as his bodily remains or objects used by him, were buried there. These were mounds. As per the Buddhist text Ashoka Badana, Ashoka distributed the portions of Buddhist relics to the important towns to construct stupas over them. Example Sanchi, Sarnath, Varut, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Next. Where were stupas built? Stupas were built in the places associated with the Buddha Dev's life, as Lumbini, the place where he was born, Bodh Gaya. It is the place where he attained enlightenment. Sarnath, where he gave his first sermon. Kushinagara, the place where Buddha attained nirvana, death. All these places are known as the sacred or holy places. Next. How were stupas built? The stupas were built by the donations donated by the kings. For example, the ruler of Satavahana, the donors' names were found in the railings and pillars of the stupas. 100 donations were made by women and men who mentioned their names, sometimes adding their places where they came, their occupations and names of their relatives also. The Buddhist bhikkhus and bhikkhunis also donated for building the monuments. Next, the structure of the stupas. Stupa is a Sanskrit word that means heap, and stupa is originated as a semicircular mound of earth. Later it is called anda. Above the anda there is harmika, which is like balcony structure, and it represents the abode. Abode means home of the god. So next the arising the harmika was a mast, a pole called the yashti, often surmounted by a chhatri or umbrella. Around the mound was a railing separating the sacred place from the world. Worshippers entered through the eastern gateway and walked around the mound in a clockwise direction, keeping on the right, imitating the sun's course through the sky. The word Medhi, that means a circular terrace. The word Torana means gateway in which is in yellow color. Another word it is used which is Vedika, that means railings. So next it is another image of stupa also, which is in colorful, so you can see properly, can come to know. Next, discovering stupas. The fate of Amravati stupa. Each stupa has a history of its own, but there were histories of discoveries also. In 1796, a local ruler of Amravati wanted to build a temple by the ruins of stone of Amravati stupa. He thought that there might be some treasure buried in the hill. After some years, a British official named Colin Mackenzie visited the site. He made drawings of several pieces of sculptures. In 1854, Walter Elliot, the commissioner of Guntur, which is in Andhra Pradesh, visited Amravati. He collected many sculptures and took away them to Madras. These marvels came to be called the Elliot marvels. By 1850, some marvels of Amravati had taken to Asiatic Society of Bengal to the India office in Madras. and some sculpture even to London. These sculptures were to be found in the gardens of British administration. So the officials in the earlier and later also been continued to remove the sculptures from the site. Next, the glimpse of Sanchi. Sanchi was discovered in 1818 by General Taylor, an officer of British Army. Some Englishmen, Indians, French carried the ruined sculptures of Sanchi, but the ruler of Bhopal in 19th century, Begum Shah Jahan and Begum's Sultan Jahan provided money for the preservation of this site. John Marshall dedicated his volumes on Sanchi to Sultan Jahan. So it is remarkable that the ruins of Sanchi are perhaps among the best preserved of their age. Next, it is the picture of Shahjahan Begum who tried to save the Sanchi Stupa. Next, the picture of Sanchi Stupa. Next, sculpture. It is also another picture of Sanchi Stupa. It is next slide, which is sculpture. Stories in stone. Just we have come to know that sculptures were so beautiful and valuable. These ruins of sculptures took away to far lands or transported to Europe also. A sculpture also shows the rural scenes. The sculpture at Sanchi shows the story of Beshantara Jataka. It is a story of generous prince who gave away everything to a Brahmana and went to live in forest with his family. Next, symbols of worship. According to hagiography, the Buddha attained enlightenment while meditating under a tree. Many sculptors many sculptors did not believe the Buddha in human form, but showed his presence through symbols. The empty seat was meant. The empty seat was meant for the meditation of Buddha. The stupa was meant to represent the Mahanirvana or death. The symbol of wheel is stood for the first sermon of Buddha, which was delivered at Saranath. Next, popular traditions. Other sculptures at Sanchi were like first a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman swinging from the edge of the gateway, holding into a gateway. The scholars described it is in Sanskrit as a Salvanjika, as it believed that she was a woman whose touch caused tree to flower and bear fruit. Another picture that is a woman surrounded by lotuses and elephants with sprinkling water on her. It shows as a performing Abhishek. Other historians believe that she is Maya, the mother of Buddha, and others also thought that she is Gajalakshmi. Another picture, it is the serpent figure, which is snake, found in many pillars at Sanchi. It is believed that it is a center of trees and a serpent, a snake of worship. Next, development of Mahayana and Hinayana in Buddhism. There is evidence of changes in Buddhist ideas and practices in 1st century. It is divided into two ideas. Means Buddhism also divided into two ideas and thoughts. The oldest ideas known as Hinayana and the newest ideas are known as the Mahayana. In Mahayana, the worship of images of Buddha and Bodhisattvas become important traditions. In this slide, you will see the different thoughts and ideas between the Hinayana and Mahayana. Next, growth of Puranic Hinduism. First, it is Vaishnavaism. Vishnu was the man god who is worshipped as principal god. Various avatars of Vishnu are also worshipped. Another thought in Puranic Hinduism, that is the Shaivism. In this thought, Shiva was regarded as the chief god. The Shiva is symbolized by the linga. He is represented in human form also. So all of these representations showed the deities with ornaments, weapons holding in their hands. Next, to understand the meanings of these sculptures, historians have to be familiar with the stories. The Puranas mostly were compiled by the Brahmanas and written in Sanskrit verse. The stories are about god and goddesses, man and woman, etc. Next, this is the picture about the avatar Varaha of Vishnu. It is in 6th century CE. Next image, it is the Durga at Mahabalipuram of 6th century CE. Next, building temples. The early temple was a small square room called the Garbhagriha with a single doorway for the worshipper. The tall structure is known as Shikhara, which was built over the central shrine. Temple walls were decorated with sculpture. Next, it is the image of Kailash temple in Maharashtra. The entire structure is carved out of a single piece of rock only. Next, can we see everything or can we understand the sculpture? Every Europeans could not understand the Indian sculpture. They were horrified about the figures. In some cities, the Indo-Greek rulers built the statues and images closest to the Greek. Next, if text and image don't match, to understand the images, there were the writings of text. Sometimes the scholars faced problem of text which not making the images. Example, sculpture along a huge rock surface in Mahabalipuram, which you now have seen in the previous slide. Next, some feel that the picture depicts the descent of the river Ganga from heaven. The natural division through the center of the rock surface might represent the river. So now we come to the conclusion that we must remember that many rituals, religious beliefs and practices were not depicted in the scriptures and paintings. These include daily practices as well as those depicting social occasion. People might not have felt the need of keeping the lasting records in the forms of sculptures and paintings. Thank you and have a nice day.